What is up, faithful? Faithful to the UK, faithful to Trey. Jimmy G's gone. But there's a debate that needs to be had because Teddy on Twitter, Teddy H6, has brought up something that needs to be debated. And we don't normally do shows this late over here in the UK, and we certainly don't wake up Carl, who was topless because it's hot. Carl, it's been a while, my brother. How are you?
Well, thanks for introducing me as if I was going to do the Magic Mike scene all of a sudden.
Well, I don't know about Magic Mike. It was more like, I don't know, John Cena or some shit.
Yeah, going back to his Attitude days. Anyhow.
But it's all good. Carl, it's been a minute. In fact, it's probably been 3 months. How are you, man? What's been going on?
Not bad at all. Just obviously my Twitter handle has now changed to KD Sports now. Got a good time the last 6 weeks or so regarding the NBA playoffs and that, which was a really, really absolutely brilliant. I mean, I'm not into basketball as much as I should be. But this series, I don't know what happened, but I've just felt a lot more into it and got invited onto a show to do an NBA show. And it was actually really good fun. And also, over the last 3 weeks or so, if anybody has been following me on Twitter at all, that I have been approached and offered to do a podcast for a guy who is obviously a New England Patriots fan. And the podcast in question is called Patriots Touchback Podcast, which will be up in about a couple of weeks' time. We've been ironing out the ins and outs of what we're going to do in that, and Dave and DJ has asked me to be the main host, and our other friend Nick Cosgrove is going to be our co-host. So yeah, it's been really, really busy over the last month or two. Not to mention the fact I'm also in festival season as well. So I've packed. So I'm going to a festival tomorrow, and yeah, I'm pretty much going to get fucking burnt alive in this weather.
Indeed. Well, I've taken. Let's just bring in CG. CG, I'll come to you in a sec. I've taken next Monday and Tuesday off work because it's going to be 35, 36 degrees, and this white boy ain't doing none of that shit. I can't be doing it, but I'm glad that everything's working out. Does that mean you're gonna leave the Shank Club, or are you still?
No. Basically, the podcast will be done. It'll be done once, maybe twice a week in the weekday. But no, my Saturdays won't get taken up, so I'm still with the Shank Club.
Cool, because we are coming back. I've got Adrian Colbert coming on very, very soon. Just got to get some time zone stuff. Jesse Sapolo for the third or fourth time's coming on. But anyway, another guest, CG Ruthless. Now, before I let you speak, you had the arch nemesis of the 49er faithful on. How did that go? I watched it, and it was interesting. How did it go for you, man? Talk to me.
I thought he was going to be a hard case, but he wasn't as bad as everybody thinks he is. Yeah, he may have an opinion. He may be a little delusional with his opinion on it, but he stuck with what he was going to say. And, I kind of had the prediction, maybe this guy would probably be one of the guys I'll probably cuss the shit of, and I didn't after all. He seemed like a really chill dude. Maybe for some perspective, his opinions do rub the people the wrong way, but I gave him some facts, and he admitted that he didn't watch Trey's practice lately, so that's where I put him in his place right there. But I didn't have to go at the line and say, you stupid, dumb football scout, that's why you're out of the lead. I didn't say that, like most of the people were saying.
That's interesting because obviously everyone has seen his tweets. Everyone.
Yeah, his takes are a little off. I'm like, dude, you only just saw maybe 2.5 games, I guess. He says, oh, I don't need to see 2.5 games. I've seen enough in college. I'm like, really?
Yeah, I mean, it was to be honest, it was a great interview and fair play. You actually got him down because I've been, and Carl knows, I've been trying to get Daniel Kelly for 3 months. And to be fair, I know, especially with you and the guys over in the States, it's hard with the time zone. And that's what I'm getting with Adrian Colbert at the moment, trying to sort out time zones. But did you take him seriously?
With him?
Yeah. I mean, how did you come out of it? Did you think motherfucker's crazy? Did you think he's just a clickbait artist like Grant Cohn is to a point? I mean, what after you'd finished it, what did you think?
Oh, after I got done with him, I thought he was an okay guy. It's just when I first saw the tweets and all the stuff he's been saying on videos, I'm like, what the heck is this guy smoking? You know, like what was he smoking? And then it kind of led me to say, you know what? The faithful wants me to bring this guy on the show. I'm going to push for this guy. And all I did was tag this guy one time. He came back to me, and then after the show, he just followed me on Twitter, just like that. But I don't know. I approach differently. You know, most content creators, you got to approach aggressive. You got to be like that ruthless mentality. You got to be like the Chris Benoit. Put it in the submission, man. That's what I do. I put people to sleep.
That's interesting because, as I say, we've had Jesse on.
I got to get him on.
Albert's coming on. We've had Mike Singletary on, even though he said hello Shank Club NFL when he was with someone else that comes on the show. He was still on. But I kind of got the feeling, and Carl knows me. I don't know if I could suffer fools gladly where he's concerned. And I'm not endorsing him. I'm not saying he's a fool, but I thought you handled it really well because obviously everyone rags on him on Twitter. And we know his feelings, right? And whether he should be taken seriously or not is another question. And I want to speak to him. Carl, you've obviously seen some of his takes on Trey Lance. Parody, Joker, complete arsehat. What do you think?
Look, 1086 is entitled to his opinion and entitled to what he puts on there. If he believes that Trey Lance is going to win 2 Super Bowls in his rookie contract, then I'd like to know what glue he's been sniffing. But with regarding of him doubling and then tripling down the whole situation, it just feels, I don't know, it just feels like he really was never a fan of Jimmy Garoppolo at all. Considering what he did do for the 49ers franchise, obviously last season he did great, did bad, mixture of everything. So now you're moving on to Trey, and this is the season where, you know, all eyes are going to be on Trey Lance now. You can forget what's happened with this season in the quarterback draft class. So the likes of Kenny Pickett, Malik Willis, Matt Corral. You can forget all of them. The only quarterback who in his first year proper starting that's going to have the eyes of the whole world on is Trey Lance. Look,
that's a big thing to take on, right?
Sorry, I don't want to see quarterbacks completely and not utterly fall flat on their face, because there's a reason why they got to the NFL. They were great at the college level. They have, it's their dream to play in the NFL. Well, everyone except the Jets, but I digress. I just feel like when people are just already trying to put Trey Lance on this pedestal already, when we have only seen 2 and a bit games of him in the NFL from last season. He came in when Jimmy Garoppolo got injured against the Seahawks. He played against the Arizona Cardinals where they lost 17-10. And then they won their game against the Houston Texans. But it was the Houston Texans, a Division II school team could have freaking beat the Houston Texans right now. So, as I said, Ted got, he's every right to say that, but at the same time, it also comes across very ignorant, and also comes across as desperate at the same time. That you think Trey Lance are going to win 2 Super Bowls. Bearing this in mind, no rookie cornerback in his first year, or first year starter rather, have ever gone to a Super Bowl. So the scale of what he's actually doing, or what he's actually saying, is greater and higher than what anybody else had predicted. I didn't predict Mac Jones to take us all the way to the Super Bowl last year. I said if we got to the playoffs, I'll be fucking delighted. But there's being optimistic, there's being truthful, and then there's just being complete and arrogance and trying to think this guy is better than everyone says he is. So, that's my take on it anyway.
See, my issue is, and obviously we've got the ticker going along. He basically said that Trey has a better ceiling than Montana. This is Ted we're talking about. And I asked him to come on, Ted H6, because we cross swords every day on Twitter. And he didn't want to come on. Some other joker wants to bet with me that that's not the case. Now, I'm sorry, as much as everyone wants to hype up Lance, CG, what do you think? Better ceiling than Montana?
I wouldn't say he's better than Montana. Like, he still has a long ways to go. And if you're going to say he's better than somebody, at least he needs to have at least a couple of good seasons, like the way how Mahomes is playing. That's how it should be in that conversation, but not right now. So we're going too soon on this kid. Like, you shouldn't say he's better than Montana.
But do you think he will be better than Mahomes? And I'm a homer, and I need to pump the brakes a bit. And I've said to people on Twitter, when everyone's like 4,000 yards, 35 TDs, 10 interceptions, etc., etc. We haven't really seen what he can do. So why don't we just pump the brakes, let the kid play, and
let him develop.
What happens. And the thing is, he's going to have his ups, he's going to have his downs. But at the end of the day, right, if he wins 10 games, I sort of think we will get 9 wins. But if we get 10, everyone's happy. We may be sneaking the playoffs. If he loses in the wild card round,
to learn experience.
But people are still going to be pissed.
It is experience if he makes it that far.
Yeah, you get to learn from your previous season, and you learn to get better. And he's still young, so if he goes through that experience where he loses a playoff game, I look at more like, hey, the kid needs experience. Maybe next year he'll learn from his mistakes and then do better the following year.
Yeah, exactly. So, would you keep, if he restructured his deal and he was cheap, would you keep Jimmy as a backup? Because, hang on, whoa, don't laugh, CG, don't laugh. Studfelt and Purdy as backups. We've been there with Bethard and Mullins. If Jimmy would do, fuck knows, I don't know, 10 million, let's say, whatever, I don't know. What are the chances of Trey making a whole season, not getting injured, or if he did and Jimmy's gone, are we fucked with those two backups? Just like
yes,
Bethard
Yes, you
and
are.
Mullins.
Well, what
so
Sudfeld, there's nothing else. Like, this guy's like a poor man's Nick Foles. Like, dude, I just look at this guy's film, and all I see is a Nick Foles, like a poor impersonator of him. But then you look at Brock Purdy, like he still needs some. He's probably going to still be a development. So I think having Jimmy G as a backup is a bonus. But I don't want to have a team divide the locker room, because if it comes down to
Well,
Trey having his moment.
that's the issue, CG, right? So everyone's saying you can't keep Jimmy. He's going to divide the locker room. He's doing this. He's doing that. But do we? I don't know. Let's say week 5, Trey gets injured, and we've got Purdy or we've got Studfeld. The season's fucked. Totally. Now, I'd rather have Jimmy on a really cheap deal holding the clipboard than those other 2 bozos, right?
Yeah, I agree on that part because those 2 quarterbacks, I don't trust Sudfeld. I've said it, I pretty made it clear about this guy. Like, you pay this guy $2 million to be your backup, right? And he's probably like your $2 million practice squad player, if anything else. But now that if Jimmy's traded, he's going to stay on the roster. So that's how high they are with Nate Sudfeld. Like, I would have been fine if they would have made a solid move for a guy like Baker Mayfield, but that's too late now.
Yeah, no, definitely.
What's the dead cap hit for Jimmy if he got cut, for example? Do you know what the dead cap hit is?
7. Is it 7
7.5, 7.5 million. But if he passes the physical, we don't worry about the money guarantee. He gets clear out of that. So he has to pass the physical first.
But they've already said they've made that money available, right, for Jimmy if he passes it.
And they allowed him to go talk to other teams too, so they can work out a trade.
You know what? I honestly think that they will keep him on a reduced deal as a backup because they're fucked. If Trey goes, they've had it. And the window is getting smaller, right?
Yeah, it gets smaller with injuries at quarterback because that's been the issue with Jimmy Garoppolo. Also, when we had him as our quarterback, our season was over because of these other quarterbacks. Like you said, we had Mullins, Beathard. When those guys came into play, our season was done from the get-go. So we don't want to have that same problem, but I see what you're saying. If we keep Jimmy G on a cheaper deal, we'll still be winning. We'll still be competitive. But I'm concerned if this is going to divide the team. That's the only issue I got with it. Or else I'd be fine with it. Like, Jimmy could take a discount and stay. I'm cool with it, but I'm not like a guy that's going to be like, hey, I would have him over Trey. No, I like Trey's upside better at this point. But I feel like if you keep Jimmy as your backup, it's viable.
So, interesting. So, CG, who do you think would split the locker room between Trey and Jimmy G? Who do you think are the people that will be wavering?
Man, it seems like if it comes down to, like, let's say if Trey doesn't play up to his game, there's always going to be a locker room team and say, hey, let's just put Trey back in the bench. Let's go back with Jimmy. I think Jimmy's going to be the center of attention. He's going to be the guy that might divide the team because if it comes to one little mistake from Trey's game and we lose a game, they're going to go towards Jimmy and say, hey, let's just put Jimmy back as a starter. Because last year, when it could have been quarterback controversial, the entire team in the locker room told Shanahan, don't do it. Let Jimmy be the starter. I don't know if that was true, but that's what I don't want. I don't want that issue right there. So I feel like that it could be Jimmy that's the issue there because everybody's already picking towards him. And he's like that one popular kid in high school that everybody likes and says, oh, let this guy in. He's cool, But Trey's like that one guy that's learning, right? He's getting better. But you're going to let some cool, cocky guy take the spot and start some issues there. That's the only problem I got.
Yeah, I kind of Trey Lance fans. I've been on the spaces, just been listening and so on, and all I keep saying is Jimmy G either needs to be cut, or needs to be traded out. It's either one of the two things. They don't care that if Jimmy G gets cut. They don't care if it's $7.5 million. They're cut. He's gone from the franchise. it matters to the organization. $7.5 million, that's a fair bit of money for an organization. You use that for other purposes. And the logistics side of things would also comes that if you was to trade Jimmy, where is the situation could go? Because you have already stated that the Baker Mayfield sweepstakes is now over and done with because he's now gone to Carolina. So unless something happens with the Deshaun Watson situation, i.e. Deshaun Watson gets suspended for an entire year, then that may be the only place he goes. He isn't going to go to Seattle because I think the Seahawks are blatantly tanking to get that quarterback for next year's draft. So the only option for Jimmy I see is if the Deshaun Watson situation pans out and he gets suspended for a year or more, maybe Cleveland will take on Jimmy for that 1 year before they bring back Deshaun Watson. But if it's only a short suspension, then I don't
they won't take it.
Garoppolo's going to end up going. What's it going to do? Apparently, I heard a rumor say he could end up being a backup at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He was a backup to Brady for the New England Patriots. He was about to become the number one guy, and Brady did the end around and told Kraft to freaking get rid of him. So why would he go back to Tampa? Why would he go to Tampa?
Why would he want to go? Why would he want to be Brady's backup again? It makes no sense.
Brady's bitch again.
They don't make sense. Like, why would I want to go back there? I want to be a starter. Like Jimmy's mindset, hey, I want to be a starter. I don't want to be no backup.
So, it's good to keep Garoppolo on the 49ers. And yes, you are right. The divide of the locker room could be significant. But Jimmy Garoppolo, when he has been fit and healthy, he's took him to a Super Bowl and took him to an NFC Championship when he's fit and healthy. Yes, okay, last season he did have his issues. I mean, there was the game against Tennessee, which is the one in particular for me, was absolutely horrific. What he done in that game was atrocious. But Trey Lance is still very raw. It's not like he came from Alabama or Georgia or Clemson or from a really big school. He came from North Dakota State. And I know people say, yeah, but Carson Wentz came from that school. Well, he's on his third team now. What do you say about that?
I mean, there's guys like Josh Allen who came from Wyoming, too. So that's a very small college, and he's at the next level. People are kind of putting his ceiling like a Josh Allen 2.0, but the more I watch his game the more I see it. It's like I see a little bit of Mahomes in him, but more of that Josh Allen upside. Like Josh Allen could take the team to the next level too. So it's like I can see where.
I think Josh Allen already has taken the Bills to the next level. I think he's got a lot more further to go. The guy is just a living cheat code at this moment in time. But look, Trey Lance has the capability. I'm not just going to toss him aside and say no, he's not going to do it. He's not right enough. I think Trey Lance is going to be successful for the 49ers, but Jesus Christ, let the guy walk before he runs. The last thing you want to do is put all this pressure on him. Then in his first year, he ends up shitting the bed, and then it just sends the fan base into absolute meltdown. Don't want to see that.
Yeah, we don't want to see that, but I feel like this is the best way to go. Is if you're investing in your quarterback, you got to give him the opportunity to start, because what's the purpose? You gave up multiple first-round picks. You gave up a third-round pick for this kid. If it wasn't for Jimmy Garoppolo being injured consistently, I don't think this wouldn't have been a problem to start with. I think if he would have stayed healthy and had a solid year and we had winning seasons, I don't think this conversation with Trey Lance would have started from there. It only started it because Jimmy Garoppolo's availability was the problem. Nobody's questioning his wins and losses. They're questioning the fact that he can't stay healthy. So that's where you get Trey Lance, and this is why it makes the most sense. And then Shanahan wants to take it to the next level. So he wants a quarterback who can carry this team at some point, right? You give Jimmy the offense, you take away his weakness. This is what Shanahan does great at. He takes away his quarterback's flaws and makes the most out of it, which is brilliant.
No, it's brilliant. It is brilliant stuff. But the thing is, if you look at his injury history, well, he tore his ACL. That's not exactly his fault. That happens to a lot of athletes in the NFL. It's not like You know, it's not like he's doing it on purpose to get injured. To an ACL, I mean, I've got experience with this because I've torn my PCL before, and that was just a freak accident. So, sorry, but yeah, it's going to be interesting how they go about this because what are we now? We're 2 weeks away from training camp, and still no sign of Jimmy Garoppolo being traded or being cut or anything that we've seen so far. So it just begs the question: if we get to 2 weeks' time, we get to training camp, and Jimmy G is still on the roster, that basically gives you a slight indication that Trey Lance might not be ready. And I don't want to put that in people's mouths. I don't. But if Jimmy G is still there come training camp, you've got a quarterback competition.
You've got competition is nothing. That's going to be a problem, right? And everyone can say Jimmy G, blah blah blah. He's dog shit. He's crap. He's this. He's that. And QB wins on a stat, right? But there's a reason why he's hanging around. And forget the injury. Forget it. I can't, for the life of me, work out if they're going to cut him. I don't think they're going to cut him and save that money. I can't understand. Everyone's like, you've got to cut him now. We'll save all this money. We got to pay Debo. We got to pay. They've allowed this money this year for Jimmy, for that thing, for a reason. But CG, I can't work out what that reason is. And Ryan, if you want to come in, put in the comments, we'll bring you in. I can't, for the life of me, understand why. Yeah, I get the injury and he can't throw and they can't. Why didn't they cut him before? Tell me, CG. Tell me.
Well, I'll tell you why they didn't cut him in the get-go. I mean, in the beginning, they had no other options. Like you just said, we had CJ Beathard, we had Nick Mullins. Are you going to be confident with those guys? No. That's why Jimmy still stuck around until we started.
We've got that now with Trey, right? So
yeah, we got that.
He gets injured. I don't know, doesn't work out. Who knows? So we cut Jimmy before training camp or whenever. And things don't work out.
Well, that's the only issue is if things don't work out, that's going to be the big problem. That's where they're going to point the finger on the front office and say, this is the reason why it's falling apart because of you. And plus, this is the biggest gamble in NFL history because this trade, this trade alone is one of the biggest moves.
Yeah, it's massive.
We never made a massive trade like this before. Not in our entire team history.
That far is huge. And this could be the end of Shanahan and Lynch. I think Lynch will go before Shanahan because that's the way the NFL works, right? Because it's going to be, well, hang on a minute. Well, I actually didn't want him, and
he's like the fallback guy. Lynch is like the fallback guy, pretty much.
I'll put out the feelers. This is obviously Shanahan. I'll put out the feelers. I actually didn't want this player, and I was forced into it by the GM. So Lance doesn't work out. Who's the fool guy? The GM. I mean, it's a really big conundrum. And as I said, someone said that Trey's ceiling is bigger than Montana overall. And to me,
we're comparing a different era. Like we're going by different time.
And I said, so everyone said, and I remember Montana and I was there and I watched it because I've been faithful since 79. So just everyone that's watching, 79. In the UK, some English fucker that knows nothing about American football, but I learn. And I saw the end of Montana, and everyone said that Steve Young was going to be the man, and he was going to do everything. He was going to he was going to piss all over him. Didn't happen. And but it was injuries and the draft, and we didn't have cap, and we didn't have this. So seriously, anyone who thinks that Trey Lance is going to be better than Montana in his career, I mean, he's deluded. I'm sorry. CG, talk to me.
Well, that one's a little too off on saying better than Montana, because what has Trey done? He's only played 2.5 games, and I'm very supportive on Trey Lance. You know, I feel like the guy has the big potential to be one of the best in our franchise history, but I'm not saying he's better than Montana or Steve Young or any other quarterback before him.
We all do, right? We all want to see that potential. We all want to see that play out. But certain people are just pushing it. Pump the brakes.
Well, I mean, I don't think there's anybody better than Montana. Montana won 4 Super Bowls and led this franchise, and he was like a skinny quarterback during his era. He took a lot of hits, and he took this team from behind, won games. And until I see something good out of Trey Lance, I really believe he's got the ability to be one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the league. We're talking in a couple of years, but I'm not saying maybe this year he might surprise us, but I'm trying to keep it realistic. Like maybe in a couple of years, you'll see this guy move up to the top 5.
Yeah, I get that. Right. So we need to see at least 2 seasons. So, Carl, Niners, next year, what is your expectation, win and loss?
What your actual record itself?
Yeah. What do you think? I mean, I've gone on record and said I think we'll get 9 wins, and I'll be happy with that. Trey,
I can see the Niners. I can see the Niners getting 9 or 10 wins. Okay, I know that you're tied with the 5th hardest schedule. And without really going through it in detail, it's very difficult to work out what games you'll win and lose by. Obviously, you play the NFC West twice, so Rams, Seahawks, and the Cardinals. I know you played the Packers. I know you played Kansas City. I know you played Tampa Bay, and I know you played Dallas as well this year.
I think we played Washington Commanders.
Oh yeah, of course you do. You play Washington, don't you? So that could be a bit of a banana skin. But yeah, if I had to go rough guess, I'd probably say 9 to 10 wins. And really in the NFC, if we're actually looking at it, the NFC is getting old. If Trey Lance was in the AFC, it's a young pup league over there right now. It's a gauntlet. Whereas in the NFC, you've still got the 2 old boys in Brady and Rodgers that are still hanging around. And there's not really that many others out there. Matt Ryan finally got out of the choking job known as the Atlanta Falcons and gone to Indianapolis. So, there isn't anything out there apart from Dak Prescott for Dallas, and obviously you got Jalen Hurts for Philadelphia. I don't really see much youth at all in the NFC. So this might be a very, very, very good time for the 49ers to start build for Trey Lance for the next couple of years, to actually start building around and get his confidence going, actually progressing. Because if he actually gets a stranglehold of this conference within his first season, it's going to make everyone then take notice and thinking, shit, we need to get younger. So, but yeah, I'll say 9 to 10 wins for the Niners. I think if you get 10 wins, you'll just about squeak a wild card. 9 wins. There are a few teams that have improved from where they were originally, so that might be touch and go. But all I want to see is Trey Lance actually play consistent and play really, really good, and just not have more interceptions than he does touchdowns.
CG, would you?
Any fairer.
CG, would you be happy that we made the playoffs and lost in the first round, whether it be wild card or NFC? What would you?
Man. Well, for
Because
the long.
I'm just again, I'm trying to. I don't want to say we're going to win the Super Bowl. We're going to
Oh
win it all.
no! But like
Trey
like
MVP, blah blah blah. What would you be happy with for this year?
I'd just be happy with the progression of Trey Lance. I'd be happy with the direction, the future. But if it comes down to a defeat, it might give me some bitter taste. But then I look in the bright side and say, hey, this kid's gonna have a future. He'll learn. So I guess you can say him making the playoffs is a huge step in the right direction, because criticism have said without Jimmy Garoppolo, Shanahan has a losing record. So maybe without the Jimmy G and we start winning games with Trey Lance, this can silence the dollars and say, hey, Shanahan's got a new weapon and it's only going to get better.
Of course, the other thing as well you got to say is QB wins isn't a stat, right? So Trey wins 11 games, doing what he does, whatever. But then they're all going to shit on Garoppolo because QB wins isn't a stat. So I don't know.
It doesn't get talked about much because sometimes those stats don't have the flashy stats, but when it comes to the wins total, it doesn't get noticed. But when you look at some quarterbacks can throw like maybe 150 yards and have a good running game, and they still win a football game. That's just the way how we've operated our offense.
Right, he's done that.
Yep, that's what we operate in this offense. Is we're mostly a run first team. We throw in passes every now and then. But what I'm hoping for in Trey Lance's year as being a starter is I'm hoping that he gets better with the supporting cast he's got and build that chemistry, which he's doing it with Brandon Ayuk right now. So that's a huge difference. Like him working with Brandon Ayuk can be the difference maker right there.
See, now I'm really interested, right? Because Carl is a Mac Jones, Mac Attack, Bill Belichick fan, right? So,
but was he forced to? Do you think? Okay, let me ask you something, Nick. Do you really think that Shanahan? Do you really think Shanahan was forced to draft Trey Lance?
No.
My thing is right. Why did we trade up to 3? Doesn't matter who it was. Why did we go that high? Because I'm not sure if Trey wouldn't have been there. Excuse me.
Oh, Carolina wanted him.
Yeah, but did they?
They didn't want to give up that spot. We were willing to move up on the Carolina Panthers draft spot, and they said, nope, we want that kid. That's all I heard was Panthers were interested. They were waiting for him because even if they had Sam Darnold, there was still that interest of having Sam Darnold as a bridge quarterback.
I got hiccups. Carl, talk to me because I'm hiccuping and I need to clear it. Carry on.
Oh dear. Yeah, I don't know how to go about this.
I mean, Sam Darnold, sorry to cut in. Sam Darnold is my man because he bangs some milk.
That's Zach Wilson, you muppet.
Sorry, Zach Wilson.
Zach Wilson.
Getting confused. And he's a crap quarterback, but fair play.
He looks like a nice Mormon kid. Like he looks like one of those guys on the missions.
Yeah, I'd be on a
he's
mission.
He's getting sued and booted to go to his mum's book club.
What do we think about players like that? So let's open it up a bit. So the first 3 picks: Zach Wilson, Trevor Lawrence, and the big surprise. The big surprise was Trey Lance. So how did that happen?
Okay, for Jacksonville, they needed a quarterback, and I thought maybe they could have just gave it a chance with Gardner Minshew, but they just felt like, hey, we need to get this kid from Clemson, and they're gonna have to go through the growing pains, and maybe this is the year they might make some improvement under Doug Peterson, which he's got a solid track record. Maybe the Eagles did him wrong, so maybe this is a good change of scenery for him, and to be fair with Trevor Lawrence was poor coaching. I mean, Urban Meyer does not have a better understanding at the NFL level. So you're getting that guy. You're hoping that he can be a Jim Harbaugh, and that didn't work out. He turned out to be a disaster, and he got fired in 13 games. Who does that? Who gets fired before the season as a rookie? Come on. But a lot of incidents. But then you look at, okay, Zach Wilson. There was this hype about Zach Wilson at number 2, and the Jets just fell in love with this guy. So they had to do what they had to do. Trade Sam Darnold. Say, hey, we'll move on with this kid and go get this guy. They watched his pro day, those hypes, those hype throws where he was throwing some good passes and all that stuff. But this guy was built like a teenager. This guy was built like a high school football player. His body, like if you look at his body, he still looks like a kid coming out of high school, and everybody's talking good things about him. When you look at his previous seasons at BYU, he didn't have the impressive stats. His final season, he blew up out of nowhere. Nobody expected him. Yeah. And then the Jets think, oh, we got our next quarterback. Guess what they're going to do? They're going to destroy that kid's career before it even starts. And then you look at Trey Lance. Shanahan's rolling that dice, right? Was he forced to pick Trey Lance? That's the one people want to know. But I feel like this is the chance to reap the benefits and move on from Jimmy.
But the thing is, what if it doesn't work out with Trey?
That would be the biggest question. That would be something that would really haunt Shanahan and Lynch for the long haul, because they're going to say they took all that gamble. And if this doesn't work out, it's going to pretty much put this franchise backwards. And that's not.
And that's the thing, right? So everyone thinks that Shanahan is an offensive guru and he's just down and blah, blah, blah. But Mullins and Bethard, I'm sorry, absolute fucking dog shit. So where are we with where does this lie? Are we going with, if this season goes in the tank, who's to blame?
The tank. I don't see the I don't see the 49ers season, this coming season going.
Carl, shut up. You got a tank top on. Shut up. CG. And bear in mind, that way. No, shit. That way. Oh. No, it's that way. No, fuck.
The only way.
Other way, wherever Carl is, he is a Mac attack guy, right? And everyone says none should have taken him.
I mean, you're going by the if fail situation. I mean, I just don't think there's no other way for Trey to fail. I mean, you got this offense that's pretty much built for him to succeed. The running game is going to help him. That's what makes a difference for a guy like Trey Lance. You have a great running game, a good receiving core, a great defense to bail you out. There's no excuses for this one. I mean, that to me is got the recipe to success. Like, if he doesn't give you a lot of wins during this season, you look at it more like a learning experience. And then he gets better the following year. Watch out. This guy's going to light it up for the next decade. And that's what we're hoping for. But if he wins you games during this season with the better supporting cast, then everybody's going to look and say, hey, damn, Shanahan was a genius for getting this guy. But like you said, if it's the negative side, they're gonna question that for decades and for a long time.
That's the problem, right, Carl? We don't know what's going on, especially with Mac attack. What do you think with Mac Jones?
Mac did what I thought he would have done in his rookie season. Basically what he done at Alabama, really. He didn't make stupid throws. He made good decision making. He can read defenses already because he obviously played for the Crimson Tide, so that was already one of his strengths already. His arm strength was okay, not great, but he did throw the ball quite a fair bit down the field. 22 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. That's decent for a rookie. He made the Pro Bowl, although being two other quarterbacks fell out of it due to either the Super Bowl or didn't want to be there, got injured. But he's a Pro Bowler nonetheless. I see for this year for Mac Jones to be even better than what he was. We've added a couple of pieces as well. One of them being Devontae Parker. I know he has a bigger injury history than Jimmy Garoppolo has, but when he is fit and healthy and on the field, I can't remember what year it was. I think it was 2019. He had 1,200 receiving yards, 9 touchdowns. If we could get that sort of Devontae Parker, then we've got the wheels rolling. But no, I expect us to just continue the way we're doing right now. Mac will get better this year. I don't see a second year sophomore slump. I see a lot of people already bashing Mac Jones. The Patriots already said they're going to be an under 500 record this year, and you've lost pieces on defense. It goes, that's true. We have lost pieces on defense, but it's not the first time we've let go one of our best corners, brought in an undrafted rookie free agent, and then they've become a Pro Bowl corner. It won't be. It's not the first time. So I see Mac Jones having a better season than what he had last year. More consistent, less interceptions, close to towards 30 touchdowns for this season, I think. And with Trey Lance for this year, as I've already said, we just need to see progression from him. If people are already trying to push him in, saying 5,000 yards and 50 touchdowns, trying to do what Patrick Mahomes did. What Patrick Mahomes did in his first starting year was an anomaly, because that was something like, oh Jesus, we weren't expecting that from him. I'm not going to expect that from Trey Lance, because you're playing in a very tough division, and there will be a point in the season where he will hit the rookie wall. Zach Wilson hit the rookie wall pretty much when he played the Patriots in week 2 last year. Trevor Lawrence has hit the wall because freaking the Jacksonville Jaguars are just a shit organization. Mac Jones hit the wall, I think it was like 4 or 5 games away from the end of the regular season. It's going to happen at some point.
Yeah, like the way you look at it from Mac Jones, like he was in a better situation with a better coach, and you guys had some solid pieces around him. So that had to be very simple transition from the Patriots going from a broken down Cam Newton to Mac Jones, who became solid. I feel like with him, it's pretty much a simple offense. You guys you can run the ball too. You could throw it. You could throw the ball to your other receivers. They don't put on the flashy stats all the time, but it's more like they do their job and that's it. It's all about wins. Belichick never cares about stats. He looks at winning, if anything else. So when you look at Mac Jones, he's a perfect example of a system quarterback who can succeed and maybe elevate this offense, But I feel like that's why he fits well with Patriots, because this offense fits perfectly for him.
It is. It's basically sort of like running. He's basically taken off his Alabama jersey and put on a Patriots jersey. It's just in the same system. Same system to what Nick Saban does.
Yeah, and they both come from the same coach together. They were working together, so that's what makes it very simple. Like you go from a Nick Saban to a Bill Belichick, and you're going to be the guy. So it's a good transition for him.
But we will see what happens. But yeah. But for Trey Lance, I just want to see progression out of him. The last thing I want to see is him having 2 or 3 off games, and then the fan base gets on his back. Don't want to see that. Really, really don't want to see that.
I expect some growing pains, but I expect him to get better as the season goes on. That's what I'm hoping for.
Problem is,
it's gonna. Okay, he's had 2.5 games last season, but that was just dribs and drabs. This is gonna be a full season where he starts. You know, he needs to get his feet wet in the first 4 to 5 weeks in order to get himself established so that he's comfortable. And then to the back of the season, you will see. I think we will see the flashes of what he showed at North Dakota State, but you will also see him also make some decisions which should have been done a different way. Maybe he's trying to go for a big corner route rather than trying to throw to his guy in the slant. It's just going to be little details at Trey Lance. Can he work out the finer details of it? If he can, the Niners are definitely going to be in business for quite a fair bit of time. But if he can't do the finer details of the reading the defenses, understanding where his receivers are, which routes they're running, it's going to be a very, very slow and painful transaction. But I don't see that. I think Trey Lance is going to do well this year.
Yeah, because you got a good running game. The receiving core solid, so you got a defense that can bail you out too if you have your moments. So this defense, we have a solid defense that can really move up to the top 5. And I feel like with the talent we got on offense, we got one of the best running back depths in the league. Like, dude, it doesn't matter who we get at running back. We can get a running back off the streets and he'd be a stud. Like, look at Raheem Mostert. Who was Raheem Mostert before he came into the league? A journeyman guy who came off the practice squad, a guy who was a special teamers, a guy who had a hard time making the roster, but we made this guy into a stud. Matt Breida, what has he done ever since he left the 49ers? He hasn't been squat. You look at guys like Jeff Wilson, we got him undrafted, a very good receiving back, a very good power back. But I feel like with the system we run on this offense, it doesn't matter who we got at running back. I feel like, Trey Sermon might have had a struggle rookie year, but I feel like in the second year, this is where he's going to finally get this offense and get it clicking. You get a guy like Ty Davis-Price from LSU, this physical power back that we're kind of going back to that old school approach a little bit, where we're going to run it down your throats and kill the clock more instead of having these little speedy backs who get injured. So it's like you see a little bit of what we're doing, and I'm hoping this is a different type of tune we're going to have this season where we just run the clock and win games when it matters.
No, absolutely.
Listen, season's coming up. Training camp is coming up. We're going to know if Trey is Trey or Trey is trash or whatever. But the whole thing in this thing was Teddy H6 said Trey will be better than Joe. Joe Cool Montana. I have to say, Teddy, get the fuck out. Carl, what say you?
As I said at the beginning, he's entitled to his opinion. If he wants to think that will happen, then let him believe it. But, I didn't think about this. I didn't think about Mac Jones winning. I still don't think Mac Jones winning 2 Super Bowls in his rookie contract for the Pats. That's unrealistic. You have to be realistic. You also you've got to have your feet back down on the ground when you're making these sorts of predictions, because they will come back to bite you on the backside.
He's gonna know. Trust me. CG, what say you?
Yeah, I mean, I just respect a person's opinion, but I'm not gonna get too critical with them. I just hope for the best for the team. I want Trey to succeed. I want this guy to get us that 6 Lombardi, but realistically, I see his season more as a learning experience where he'll get some ups and downs and he'll get some experience. And then the following year, this is where the kid's going to dominate the lead. And maybe at this point during the season, like maybe the following year, I feel like we'll probably get to that 6 frame, but you just got to be patient with Trey. You got to let this kid get some experience. And I feel like you get some of that Mahomes type player, that Mahomes type ceiling,
Yeah,
because
exactly.
everybody's.
You want to see something, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
And
apparently, a few comments before we go.
well,
Nick
well,
is not interested in the Trey Lance talk. Lance needs to be a good QB for the Niners. Gave up a lot. Listen,
I mean,
we gave up a massive amount. And why should I not be skeptical? I don't get it. I don't know. Carl, you need to get out of here because your hairline is shit. So,
I knew someone was going to fucking say that.
what?
Carl, big it up. Let's go. 49ers, Shank Club NFL. Apparently, I'm not faithful, but fuck it. Carl, finishing thoughts.
Training camp 2 weeks away for pretty much most teams. We're pretty much on the doorstep now towards our new NFL season, which I'm very, very excited for. Look, as I said earlier on in this show, I hope Trey Lance is successful with the Niners. I hope this season he actually puts up a show, puts up some really decent numbers. I only wish for the best of him. Okay. And regarding people bashing Jimmy G, just remember what he actually done for this organization when he was fit and healthy. That's all I'll say.
CG.
Well, with Trey Lance, I've already got a lot of high I mean, I don't have too much expectation with him. I just feel like he'll come in the gate and just have the better supporting cast around him. So with Trey Lance, I feel like this is going to be a simple transition for him, because this offense that he played at North Dakota State, it's very similar to what we're running. So it should be a lot like, you go by the system that fits you, right? You go by the offense that fits your skill set. And this is exactly what fits Trey Lance's skill set. And the more he learns this offense, the quicker he's going to catch on. And that's what I like about this kid. He's a quick learner, and he's getting some workouts with Brandon Ayuk, and he's putting the extra work. He's practicing after practice. Like, who does the extra work like that? Like, even when practice is over, he's doing more extra. I don't know. I haven't seen a quarterback put in all that extra work for that. I mean, he's hungry for success. But as far as the season progression, this may sound as a surprise, but I feel like we have the ceiling to win 12 games, because I feel like the schedule, it's very favorable. When you look at it, we're going to go against a lot of rebuilding teams that nobody expects. Like, you look at the Washington Commanders, they're putting all that mortgage on a guy like Carson Wentz who can't stay healthy. See, they're still a rebuilding team. You look at the Chicago Bears, rebuilding.
That's a W. That's sorry, saying that. Stop right there. That's a dub. That's a dub right off the bat. Sorry.
No, but that team is rebuilding.
Sorry.
Seattle rebuilding.
I have to break this down because their receiving core is Darnell Mooney and N'Keal Harry. Come on.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah. No, but it's all rebuilding. If you look at okay, maybe half our schedule, you see a lot of rebuilding teams. Yes, Seattle's had her number for quite some time, but they have a different quarterback, so that team is rebuilding.
Yeah, but the Bears are not helping Justin Fields. They're reenacting the film The Killing Fields, although it is just Justin Fields, but
Yeah,
but carry on, sorry.
Yeah, it's all good. But then we got Carolina, who's kind of a question mark. So we'll see if Baker Mayfield could be the guy. And then you look at the Atlanta Falcons rebuilding. New Orleans Saints, a question mark, but kind of rebuilding. But you look at the other schedules, and those ones are kind of like unproven AFC West teams that nobody knows. Like, I feel like Denver has kind of made the strong moves too. The Raiders did the same thing. You look at the Chiefs, people are kind of doubting them like they're not going to win a division. They're going to be last. I just don't agree with it. I feel like Kansas City still has a team around Mahomes. So even without Tyreek Hill, they're still going to be a good football team.
I think that's the one match I can definitely see you losing away from your division. It is probably against Kansas City.
It's going to be.
I know they've lost. I know they lost Honey Badger. They lost Honey Badger, and obviously their corner. 49ers got a corner off the Chiefs. I can't remember what his name is now, so I do apologise. So they've had lost a couple of bits on defence, but Kansas City is still Kansas City at the end of the day, even without Tyreek Hill.
They got a lot of different receivers too. They got Marquez Scantley. They got Juju Swister. They just drafted a receiver from Michigan, Sky Moore. Yeah, they just drafted him. It's kind of like having like their own version of a Debo a little bit from what I was looking at. But I feel like a lot of the people in the AFC West, those other fans, I feel like they're underestimated the Chiefs. Like they still got Mahomes, they still got Andy Reid. So I don't know. Don't get too ahead of yourself.
No.
But
Right.
definitely, yeah. Definitely appreciate being on your show, man. It was a great debate, man. But what were you gonna say, Nick? Sorry about that.
No, that's cool. So let's just say goodbye. Carl, tell everyone where they can find you with your little singlet on.
You can find me on Twitter at KBSports31. You can also find me on 2 other talk shows that I do. Monday Talks, so talk about NFL, football, basketball, whichever sport they decided to call me in for. And starting from next week, I believe, I will be hosting a podcast for the New England Patriots with a good friend of mine. Starting next week, known as the Patriots Touchback podcast. So very, very much looking forward to that as well. So yeah, but you can hit me on KB Sports 31.
We're coming back. CG.
Yeah.
All right, man. Very honored to be on your show, man. It was fun. But if anybody wants to know what my channel is, CG Ruthless Sports, you want brutally honest, you want me to speak the truth and nothing but the truth, you come on my channel, CG Ruthless Sports. I'm not giving you no BS, no homer, none of that stuff. I'm going to keep it a buck. But if you want to check out the other show, I do the NFC West Network. It's an NFC West debate. I go within our division. We talk football. That's another channel you guys can check out. I had one of the best debates from yesterday. Yeah, by far, it was the best debate, and I went like crazy, man. I was going Stephen A. Smith level. Yeah, but yeah, dude, it's definitely an honor to be on Nick's show, man. This guy has been doing his thing, man. The Shank Club, keep it going, bro. It's been grinded, bro. I appreciate your support, and man, I got much love for the people in the UK, man. Just keep it going, man. That's what I love about this unity.
Thing is, people say that the UK are dumbasses.
I disagree, man. I think you guys are.
Oh, yeah.
You guys know what you're talking about sometimes, man. I mean,
yeah. No, look, we're not. Look, when Americans or Canadians or anybody else from that side of the Atlantic come over to England to watch an international series over here. So obviously, our 3 international series for this year, obviously, we have our first game in Germany, which is basically a blowout between the Buccaneers and the Seahawks. And then you got the Wembley game, which is Jaguars versus Broncos. Then you've got the 2 games at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. You got the Saints versus the Vikings, and then you got the Packers versus the Giants. When they come over there and they actually speak to British people about NFL, they're thinking that they're just going to school them. But we in this country are so clued on with the NFL now, it actually shocks the living daylights out of them. And I think it's also when we go over to America as well to actually watch the teams play at home, because obviously Nick's going over to the Bay Area for 2 games. Is it against the Saints and the Dolphins, isn't it, Nick?
I guess he's having reception issues.
He had reception issues. Oh no, it's a shame.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
I'll see if I even get to one of those games this year, man. Maybe I might see Nick out there, but man, I seen a couple of you guys the UK Niner flags. I see, man. Hey, maybe Nick can send me one, man. I'll definitely be supportive for you guys.
excellent,
Yeah,
CG, excellent. Yeah.
I mean, I got much respect for the UK, man. You guys do your thing, man. You guys show passion. I mean, I don't care what fan base you guys are. If you're from another country, I don't care if you're from Australia or anywhere in the Middle East. I don't care, man. As long as you guys know your football and keep it peaceful, I'm cool. You know, it's like, I mean, I come from Hispanic culture. You know, I come from the Mexico category. So you know, growing up in America, I was a Mexican. So you know.
Well, I think that's it.
As I was saying before you lost your internet connection again, you'll have to you go over to the Bay Area.
No, I'm not. Unfortunately, I can't because I can't. I'll text you with what happened, but Shank Club NFL, we're there. CG, let everyone know where they can find you.
Yes, sir. CG Ruthless Sports. Find the channel with Niner content. Brutally honest, I do a little bit of everything. I do some wrestling. I just interviewed some pro wrestlers also. I've interviewed NFL players. I've interviewed some media people, including Daniel Kelly, which I already put out on blast. I've even interviewed Spencer Burford, who became the 4th-round draft pick by the Niners. Josh Hockett I interviewed. But if you want to check out another channel, which is NFC West Network, if you want to check out within our division, I'm the proud representative of the 49ers. And yesterday or the other day, I had one of the best debates you guys must watch. But yeah, definitely appreciate being on the Shank Club. And Nick, man, you've been kind and respectful. I got nothing but respect for you guys and what you guys do. You know, keep it up. Oh, hey, man, you got to send me a UK flag, man. I'll definitely give you guys some shout outs for that, man.
Well, we can get some people to do that. So I'll sort it out.
Yeah, Niner UK flag. I like that. Niner UK, that's pretty dope.
We're all over, right? That's the thing that a lot of people that go, "Oh, you're British, you know nothing." Carl, what say you? Yeah, exactly. Fuck you.
I mean, you guys can be the Aussies, you guys can be whatever. I don't care as long as you guys know your football, what you guys do. So you know, UK, I got much respect for, man. Like you guys know your stuff, so you guys follow football. You guys are passionate. You guys are more passionate about American football. I've seen a lot of the UK fans kind of wanting more American football. So, you know, it's like, it's something that I really take as respect, you know, the way I see you guys do it. But how would you guys feel if the Jacksonville Jaguars had a team in London? I don't know. I've been hearing rumors about it.
Carl?
No, don't like it. There's 2 reasons why I don't like it. First of all, do we really want misery over here? We suffer enough with our fucking England national football teams already is. Why do we want a team every year to fucking suck? And the second one, and the more obvious one, is logistically. The logistics side of things is the big. We've got the fan base for it. We've got the stadium for it. Tottenham Hotspur Stadium will be the stadium for it, or people said it could be Wembley as well. But the logistics side of things is obviously the time difference, because it's basically a prime example for a flight from London Heathrow to, I'm just going to put out to Boston. It's around about, I think it's around about a 7-hour flight, I believe. So a flight from Heathrow to San Francisco, you're looking more like, 12, 13 hours? Can a team over in the UK really have that sort of logistic burden on them when they have to go fly out to, say, a team over to the West, and then fly all the way back over to England again for a home game? That's a challenge and a half in itself.
Yeah, it is. Especially, I don't know, like for you guys to have a game, it's cool to have like NFL games come every now and then, but there's been talks about like teams like Jacksonville wanted to be a team in UK, and I think some of you guys don't like it because the Jaguars are what they are. They're terrible in some perspective. You've seen enough of misery, so why would you want to see the Jaguars? And I guess the city of Jacksonville doesn't want to see no more misery, so maybe that's what they're trying to do, like ship them away. Like you guys can have them.
I mean, I'll probably just buy a season ticket for 1 year just for shits and giggles. But that, apart from that, I don't see it at all. What we've got going right now, I think it's more than enough currently. So, 3 games over in London for the next 4 years. We've now got a game happening in Germany, and I'm pretty much guaranteed that obviously Tampa Bay are playing this year against Seahawks. Next year, Kansas City will go over there with 23. Then it'll be the Patriots' turn in 24, and the Panthers will finish off in 2025 because those are the 4 teams that have got the German marketing rights, apparently. So I can actually see Kansas City going over to Germany next year. So Mr. Rogers, he is going to be the fish whisperer. I'm going to bank on it right now that the Chiefs will be in Germany, in Munich next November, 2023 in November. I guarantee you. So, but yeah, that's how I feel about if we have a London franchise over here. It's just unrealistic, and the logistics side of thing is just it's just too much. It's just too much. But money talks. So, what do I know? Nick, there.
Yeah, man. But man, it was a great show, man. Got to get some stuff ready, man. But hey, it was a great. I'm gonna definitely promote it on the community tab, man, so everybody can check out the channel and subscribe it, man. But keep it up, man. I mean, I like what you're doing, Nick. I like what the rest of you guys are doing. Even if you're a Patriots fan, man, you're doing a hell of a job yourself. So just keep on grinding. Never stops. Consistency. Consistency is the key.
Yeah. CG, you've been an absolute star. Thank you so much for coming on. Nick, are you there? I don't know if he's ignoring me or not responding. I don't know. So I think we're just gonna have to call it quits. There. Well, hang on. Let me just message him. You're actually gonna talk? Are you?
Well, yeah. Let's see what happens. Oh, I think there's a private chat. Oh, you're gonna talk?
I just messaged him. I goes, are you gonna talk, or is that just?
Yeah. Maybe he's having issues with the Bluetooth or whatever he has. But
he probably is. All right, CG. Thank you so much for coming on, mate.
No problem, man.
Really much appreciated. Carry on with your fantastic work over on your 2 YouTube channels.
Yeah. Definitely let me know if you guys ever want to come on. Let me know, and I'll figure out a schedule. Especially you, Nick. If you want to come on the show, I will get you on the show, and I'll promote your channel, and I'll give you a shout out, buddy. Like UK, we are unity. Like they say, unity with all sports. You guys doing a good thing. So I know I kind of make it sound cool. I like your guys' accent. It's pretty cool. Like yeah, let's go. Like my boy Gavin. He's what is it, Wales or something? He talks cool. Like that dude Gavin. But all right, I'll catch you guys later. But great show.
That's the end of our show, guys. I don't know why Nick's not talking. I don't know why Nick's not speaking. Are you there? But we're going to cut it there, guys. Thank you for everyone that's tuned in to this show. Hope you've all enjoyed it. Me and Nick, we are getting on out of here. We'll be back very, very soon, where the Shank Club NFL will return for the brand new season. Peace out.